Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with part 2 the Richie and Hazz show. I'm Brent Hazard, joined by Richard Schwartz and Brandon Dorsey. Let's get into this. Last night, the Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. We're continuing with sports talk. Had to fight. Did you see it, Mr. Dorsey?
I did not.
Okay, going into it, it was a draw. Roy Jones Jr., Mike Tyson. Who would you put your money on?
Mike Tyson.
Why?
He's just...
I'm not talking about 1980s Mike Tyson that scared people and got arrested on reputation.
I just think some things you just don't lose.
Okay.
Mike.
Did you see the fight?
No.
Okay. We've got it pulled up on the Hazard Law Video Center, or whatever the hell, TV. And this is brought to you by CBS. We're trying to learn about copyright laws and all that said, but let's turn it on. Now, first of all, Jim Gray is a walking skeleton. How old is Jim? Now, let me stop here.
Where's Howard Cosell?
Wow. But anyway, okay, Roy is not looking that good. I mean, okay, both these guys are 50, and they're in better shape than I am. Are they
He
on
looks like
something?
he's out of breath already.
They fought an exhibition.
Oh, this is after the fight.
Yeah, this is after the fight. They called it a draw. Are they on some enhancements? Are they on some growth hormone or some steroids?
I definitely think Mike is.
Mike's having some fun there with his cup. Are they on something? They're on something. Let's just say it.
Yeah,
they're on
they're-
something,
yeah.
some growth hormone or some age. But I've been told that Mike killed him, and that it was a draw by negotiation. It was not a true draw. Roy Jones Jr. held like 5 belts in 5 divisions. He's one of the greatest pound-for-pound fighters I've ever seen, and just didn't have any competition. He ain't a heavyweight.
True.
That grown man, Mr. Tyson, back in his day, Ali or Tyson, back in their prime. I know what you're
Ali.
supposed to say.
Ali.
I know what you're supposed to say.
Ali.
I
Ali.
think Mike would destroy Ali. I don't think it'd be.
You're supposed to say Ali. And I
I
didn't
think
see
Mike
Ali
would
in his
destroy
prime.
him.
And of course, that's a heavyweight.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you met Mike or you...
No, I was shooting a commercial with Ken Norton, the boxer, the one that broke Ali's jaw.
Yeah.
Mandingo. He was a Mandingo.
Back then, you had Ali, George Foreman, Ken Norton, and who did Ali have the 2 out of 3 with? Frazier. Joe
Yeah,
Frazier.
Smoking.
The golden
but
age of heavyweight.
First thing I want to say is, people will get into a fight, go in the ring $1 million. Yeah, I'll go in there in the ring. Ken was one of the biggest guys I've ever seen in my life, and his hands were just gigantic. And to put it in perspective, in the commercial we needed hitting on the bag, a heavy bag, and they had this lady doing karate on it. And he goes, "Lady, that's not the way to do that." He got his hand and hit it one time, and the bag hit the roof. I've never seen anything like it, even at that age. But he was a great guy, funny, and so I was telling him a joke about boxing, and the joke was, "Hey, Mike, did you hear about Ken, did you hear about Mike Tyson going to the doctor and said, 'Doctor, I don't understand. Every time I have sex, my eyes burn.'" And the doctor goes, "That's mace, Mike." And Ken Norton.
Whoa, dear Mike Tyson, that was Richard Schwartz.
No, wait, let me tell you.
That was Richard Schwartz.
Let me tell you
Go
what Ken
ahead.
told me. Ken said, didn't crack a smile. He said, "I'm going to tell Mike on you." I said, "Oh, jeez, please don't do that."
You see that, Richie? You see what's about to be coming to you right there? This is brought to you by CBS Sports. You see that right there? You see that man moving?
Yeah.
Well, then make all the fun you want. Make all the rape jokes and make sure. Richard Schwartz, Mike. Brent Hazard didn't say a damn thing about you. I think you were a victim.
But he's the head of the show.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm not. I mean, anybody who gets their tattooed, I don't know where I went. But, yeah.
No, I think Mike Tyson was probably the greatest heavyweight ever.
Over Ali.
Yep.
I disagree.
Okay, would you go Ali Tyson?
I would.
I mean, the best record in all of boxing was clearly Oh, what's
You're not gonna go white boy Raging Bull, are you?
no? What's his name?
Sugar Ray Robinson.
No.
Sugar Ray Robinson's supposed to be
No,
the greatest
no,
heavyweight of all time,
um,
even better than Ali.
No.
The guy that
No.
the guy that
You didn't see Sugar Ray Robinson.
what's his name?
Well, I've seen clips of him.
Okay,
Yeah,
about-
and
I mean, he was undefeated,
Yeah.
mostly knockouts, and
Who are you
and there was
talking about?
unlimited rings. What's his name?
Oh, you talking about the black guy in the 20s?
No, I'm talking about the white guy. He was undefeated, more knockouts than anybody else. He had this disease where he didn't have feelings, like when you
talking
hit
about
him.
Max Schmidt or something?
No, not Max Schmidt's a German guy. What am I? God, that burns me up. I know who
You
it is.
still mad at Germans?
Huh?
You still-
No.
No, I mean, it's
Max
okay.
Schmidt-
I'd be mad at
Max-
Germans,
I would
too.
be mad at him beating
I
Joe
can't
Louis.
say- I thought we were too easy on the Germans
Hey.
myself.
I would be mad at him too because he beat Joe Louis. I mean, that was
Okay, wait. Is Joe Louis the best heavyweight? Is that who I'm talking about?
no, it's
No.
not. No, the by record, it's this guy, and I cannot remember his name right now.
got Google.
Jim Rocky Marciano.
Rocky Marciano.
He wasn't a heavyweight.
Yeah, he was.
No, he wasn't. Rocky wasn't a heavyweight. He was. You're talking about the movie Rocky. Rocky
No,
Marciano.
no,
No.
We're talking Rocky Marciano.
Rocky
He was not a
Marciano.
heavyweight.
He was.
Yeah,
No.
he did.
We're not
Yeah.
talking about Sylvester Stallone.
He was
Rocky.
a heavyweight.
We're talking Rocky Marciano.
I know who Rocky Marciano.
He was completely undefeated.
Yeah, Rocky
had more
Marciano.
knockouts than any other
Joe
boxer.
Louis beat the hell out of Rocky Marciano. Everybody says Rocky was too old.
Rocky never lost a
He
fight.
never lost a fight.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, he was a heavyweight.
He never lost a fight.
Finished his career undefeated. Might be wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, Marciano. The
And he
best-
had that ailment where you couldn't feel pain. And he had one bout where his nose was busted wide open and knocked the other guy out. Continue fighting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, best heavyweight boxers. I'm just pulling this off the top. I mean, one, I don't know, to be honest, Mike never beat Evander.
True.
I mean, let's be as honest as we can. But, I mean, you've got to go Ali. Then you go, oh, my God, this one has Klitschko in it. Come on now.
Now, Ali was by far the most popular person that made boxing an event.
Well, he changed society.
He absolutely made boxing something
Ali's
really special.
the father of rap. And, I mean, you know, he
Because the rhymes he did.
Right.
well, yeah. No, I mean, and of course, everybody was doing that on the streets. Okay, this one has George Foreman 9, Jack Dempsey 8, Larry Holmes 7. Larry doesn't get his credit. Joe Frazier 6, Rocky Marciano 5, Harry Wills 4.
Never heard
of him. 1920s. Jack Johnson was
Jack
the guy I was
Johnson.
talking about.
Yeah,
Now,
Jack Johnson.
He was back in the early 1900s, and you know, besides being hated by every white person and beating everybody up,
He just knocked everybody out.
Joe Louis 2 and Muhammad Ali 1. And Tyson was not in that top 10.
But there's only one heavyweight that was undefeated.
No, I mean, you're right. I can't believe it. But anyway, did anybody see the second fight?
No.
Logan.
Second fight. Oh, they had two fights?
Yeah,
No.
they had multiple fights. Let me
I
see
didn't
if
see.
can
I didn't
find
see it.
As we work with the technical matter. Logan, what was Logan's name? Logan Paul, as our videographer helps us out, versus Nate Robinson, the Slam Dunk Championship. Now, do y'all even know who Logan Paul is?
I've never heard of him.
Or Nate. I don't know any of those.
Nate
guys.
Robinson won the Slam Dunk Championship. It was a weak Slam
Yeah,
Dunk.
I know him.
He played NBA.
5'8". He's a fantastic athlete. Played college football for Washington and played for the Knicks mostly. And but 5'8", can jump out the gym. One of those guys who
Wow.
44-inch vertical, 42.
Wow.
Just one of those guys that are just a freak. But Logan Paul is a YouTuber. Let me see if I can find it. He's a content creator. And sir? Oh. Look at our director doing something. They got the full fight up here. Now we're going to go to fight clips so we can give credit. But that's them. Logan Paul's a white boy. Logan's got him by about 3 inches. Nate had never been in a fight before. And Logan Paul, he is a YouTuber who got beat up. He had some criminal issues with underage girls sending him some stuff and had some guns and stuff. But then, you know about this, this is round one of 6. Robinson was talking to a lot of trash because Logan Paul didn't really play sports and he's a YouTuber. He's got a nice combo. And I mean, he's been putting some time in the gym. Well, we're having some technical issues here.
So, spoiler alert, who wins?
The white boy wins. Catches him with a hook here. Yeah, we'll get there. Here it comes. He was backing up, throws that haymaker, and it was over. Nate was like, they don't do that in basketball.
Yeah.
But now, Logan Paul called out. Logan Paul makes about $1 million a year creating stupid YouTube commercials or content. And no one our age knows him. And it's all people 20-something years old and younger. And TikTok. He called out Conor McGregor and some other. He called out. I mean, there's plenty of boxers that'll take his soul. Mm-hmm. But he has found out a niche where he's fight other celebrities. And, I mean, they make $1 million a fight. What else are you going to do without college education? And Logan looks like he might be on some substances.
I would say there's no question about him.
What?
Being on something.
Well, I mean, if you're not going to be drug tested, you'd be a fool not to get on performance enhancing. And, I mean, I think the whole NFL and NBA is on it. I don't think LeBron James is playing at 40 years old because he eats well. I mean, yeah. I think him and Brady.
He's bigger.
Are you dying? Are you giving me COVID?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. He's bigger than I. Every year he seems to be bigger and bigger.
Who?
James.
Oh, LeBron. Yeah. It's called getting old. But see, he's got 22 million YouTubers. Let's just watch one. Like, I spent $500,000 on this Pokemon card. He got 7.2 million views on that. He makes about a couple million a year off this stupid ass stuff. He interviews some people. She couldn't hold it in anymore. I cheated. She'll have my baby. Trapping my girlfriend at negative 202 degrees. Literally multimillionaire from that. That's why I think the Richie and Hazz show can at least get 10,000 views if y'all would help carry your weight. If you two would help me, I think what we ought to do is a whole series of you doing stupid ass stuff. I mean, besides
I do that every day of my life.
Well, I'm just saying, if we could film it, maybe if you're an alligator, maybe you skydiving.
Hey, as long as it's in front of a green screen, I'll do anything.
I'm not going to comment there. What's the most craziest thing you've ever done, Mr. Dorsey? What's the X Games?
And keep it clean.
Keep it clean.
Mr. Dorsey married his high school sweetheart. He's the person we all strive to be.
Those are the guys the quiet guys, yeah. The ones you got to watch out for.
Wow.
Probably the craziest thing I've ever done is
skydiving.
No.
Okay.
Growing up in Greenville, it didn't snow a whole lot, and when it did snow, it was a big thing. So my friends and I, one time it snowed, went down to the levee and got a cardboard, ripped it in pieces, slid down the levee. Unfortunately, I ran into the river.
How cold was it, sir? It was
quite cold.
32 degrees. Now, wait, did you go in where you were wet?
I went in.
I'm talking about how were you submerged?
Yes.
Okay, what kind of swimmer are you?
I'm a great swimmer.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a great swimmer.
Okay, I'm just checking.
But you don't do that at the levee.
No. The river, is it the Ferguson or the river? Lake Ferguson?
Lake Ferguson.
Okay. Yeah. The river, you might not came out in 28 degrees. It's the craziest thing you've ever done.
Been on this show.
Really? That's it? That's all you got?
That's it. That's all I got.
None of the trips to Thailand or anything like
that? Nope.
Okay. We're not going to get into that today. I mean, probably me shooting something up or destroying something with a car, flipping a car or something, doing redneck stuff and stuff like that.
You know the last words of a redneck, don't you?
Be careful.
Hold my beer and watch this.
I don't drink beer. But
watch this.
I don't know why someone from Jackson had to go into an accent on that. You've got the southern accent, redneck.
Hey, I'm a redneck.
I'm just saying, just because you from Northeast Mississippi don't mean a damn thing. But anyway, okay, so we're going to come up with the Richard Schwartz dangerous activities. And I think, swimming with sharks. You can do this and do your commercials.
Lawyers can do that because they have professional courtesy.
I'm just setting him up unintentionally. I'm sounding mean. Are you on TikTok yet? Are you on any social media besides?
Yeah, we're on social media.
Okay. Are you on TikTok?
I don't think so.
Are you on? Have you shot a TikTok yet?
No.
Are your
I
kids
think our new Super Bowl ad will be on TikTok.
Are your daughters on TikTok?
Video?
Yeah.
No.
Are your kids on TikTok?
No.
You sure?
As far as I know.
Okay. But yes. See, and I'm not even going to ask y'all about this, but it goes.
Are you on TikTok?
I have a TikTok account, and if our videographer director ever cuts some clips for me, the show will be on TikTok. But I can't,
And what's the span? How many seconds?
2 minutes?
2
no,
minutes?
wait, a minute? Is it a minute, 90 seconds or something? It's addictive. If you've not got on TikTok.
Oh, now I watch TikTok.
Yes.
I think it's very addictive. Yes.
And then, from TikTok, it went Instagram, TikTok, and now for the young ladies out there. Well, no, there's young men out there too. You have OnlyFans. And if y'all have not checked to see if your kid's on OnlyFans, it's almost like
So tell us what it is.
homemade porn.
It's porn.
Well, it's not. It's soft porn, hard. It's only. You're writing it down,
Yeah.
sir.
I've never heard
Here,
of it before.
okay, heck, I mean,
OnlyFans.
it's on YouTube. We won't get anything X-rated. But people are making $80,000, $90,000. If you have a young daughter in her 16s or in college, swear to God, you need to Google her, see if she has an OnlyFans account, because a lot of them do. Some waitresses around town, and you pay so much for either video clips. And what's happened is on TikTok, it's a huge issue where someone's family friends see young daughter.
I have
on
one question
OnlyFans.
for you, Brent. How much does it cost?
I don't do OnlyFans. I have to see. I'm going to be so careful how I pay this. The young ladies I date are expensive enough just being their friend, so I don't have to be a fan because, like I said, but
I've never heard such a
Oh
thing.
no, let me see if I can
I've
pull
never
it
heard
up
of this
here.
before.
I don't know if this is good radio or not, or good video podcast or not. OnlyFans, you see it right there. I don't even know what's coming up. How to get started with OnlyFans. How to make money on OnlyFans. My biggest mistakes. I made an OnlyFans account for a week and made X amount of dollars. It's insane. I mean, they what it is they've taken the Playboy centerfold and taken the publisher out. So they use their Instagram pics and they just make them nudes, and then they charge people to view them. And it's mostly like neighbors and stuff. It is insane. And I am always shocked at how many people. Hey, I'm trying to find. I made $12,000 a month with OnlyFans, no nudes.
Wow.
I think I saw on some of these clips, because I didn't know what it was, and someone said you need to check out my OnlyFans, and I was like, "What's that?" And they were like, "Well, it's the page subscription page." I'm like, "What?" Because we're trying to get into YouTube, we're trying to get into Instagram, and I was like, "There are swingers on it." Most of this information is coming from TikTok, but they'll be on there. I don't know if it's fake or they're acting or whatever, but they'll be.
It tells you
Whole
the number of views.
houses.
Now, the next one had 94,000 views.
See,
Yeah.
I paid for Trisha Payton's OnlyFans, so you don't have to. How to make bank on OnlyFans. I mean, there's guys doing it. I bought Delphine's OnlyFans, so you don't have to. 6 figures a month on OnlyFans.
369,000 views for this guy.
Yeah, I bought Vegan Gains OnlyFans, so you don't have to. Well, here's the interesting thing. People buy their OnlyFans. Like last night on TikTok, someone was live broadcasting the fight. And I was sitting there like watching it. And I was like, am I violating the law because this is pay-per-view? Am I pirating? Mm-hmm. So you can't even know who's doing it. But
What does that mean? They bought it for you. Does that mean
No,
that
they're
it's
going to
free?
show you the pictures.
Free.
Free.
Okay.
And, I'm not going to watch any of this because I don't want to get into that content. But it is a weird phenomenon that I think some of it came from the pandemic, that people were at home, a lot of waitresses, a lot of bartenders out of work in New York and Boston, and they would just start doing this. But I mean, I had not heard. It is so bizarre. But like I said, if you go to TikTok, I'd say 15% of TikTok are people advertising their OnlyFans accounts. And it's just, you see some of them and you're like, that girl can't be out of ninth grade. I mean, it's really a concern to a certain degree because for those who do not know, Brendan Dorsey was a public defender at youth court, and I was the prosecutor, and we went, and you were also the guardian ad litem.
Correct.
And we've tried 1,000 cases against each other. One of the interesting issues, I don't know if you were down there at this time, I had a father come down to youth court screaming and yelling for me to charge some ninth graders cause, and let me say this, I have to be careful how I say this. The white parents are the worst when you have to explain to them the legal views.
Well, you can't charge anybody.
Oh, no. They had 15-year-old they had pictures of a naked 15-year-old, which is by definition child porn.
Right.
Okay?
That's right.
So he wanted all 6 boys arrested. You remember this?
I do.
Okay. So I'm sitting there and I have to I go, okay, who took the pictures? And because you have to understand the child porn laws were passed, 70? Whenever video came in, 1930s, you probably didn't have any.
Right.
And it's all about technology. So I was explaining to him, I can go have them arrested who took the pictures. She did. But she sent them to her boyfriend, and her boyfriend forwarded them to the other 6.
Oh,
And he was furious, and I had to look at him and say, we'll have to arrest her.
Yeah.
And,
right.
and he got so mad, and I go, you don't understand, sir. Telephone phones were not created at the time these statutes were made.
Right.
So I said, the creator of the pornographic material, child porn, has more enhancers than the actual, and some of this is federal, some of this is state. And he got so mad at me, I go, I can't selectively prosecute.
Right.
I go, do you want me to pick up your daughter? And he goes, well, she has, I go, no, she's underage. And I go, it's an argument I understand, but it still hasn't been addressed because adults do not want to understand sexting happens.
But possession of pornography of underage child is a crime.
So's creating it.
I understand.
Okay.
I
But I can't, so in your mind, I can go arrest your son for having naked pictures of my daughter.
I think
you don't have a son, I don't have a daughter.
Yeah, it's just a different animal because if she did it and promoted it and sent it to someone's going to look at it. And really, she's the culprit, not the kids.
Well, it gets into a question, but what needs to happen, and we discussed this in detail, we came up with a solution. You have to treat it kind of like statutory rape. If you're in a 2-year gap, if she's 15 and sent to a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old, statutory rape is about 24 months or 36,
24 to 36
depending on the situation and the age, once you hit 13 until you get to be 18. So meaning if the girl's 15 years old and the guy's 17 years old, it's not statutory rape in Mississippi. If it's 15-year-old and 20, it's statutory rape. And you don't know how many idiots. Let me go ahead and say this. Go home to everybody who has a 20-year-old and tell them that they'll go to Parchman for 10 years. Because this is what you always get. Well, you can't tell how old she was. 30 seconds in the conversation, you can tell a ninth grader. And, people, and of course, we used to get the 30-year-olds.
But that doesn't defend the rape.
No. But,
Yeah,
see,
so it
but
didn't really
it's
matter.
consensual. The 15-year-old's consenting.
Yeah, but it didn't.
But it's not. But it's statutory rape.
That's right. It still is.
And they're going to jail
Right.
because everybody admits to it. And then I just stare at them like, you need to go home and have this conversation with all males. But yeah, we used to get the 30-year-olds. And we used to have to handle the DHS civil case. Mr. Dorsey and I. You remember the bestiality case?
I do.
We had a case where a divorce was going on and the girl might have been a stripper or a dancer or something. So the husband was going to get back at her. The husband took the dog and sodomized the dog and recorded it on his phone and sent it to her. So you had porn, illegal porn. You had bestiality. It was crazy. These idiots will tape anything and don't understand once you create it, you can't destroy it because now you're destroying evidence.
In city court, when I was prosecutor, we had a lot of bestiality cases.
You're lying.
No, I'm not.
How many have you seen?
Just that one.
I've seen. I almost
saw
got
5.
appointed. I had a circuit court judge used to call it now. I've tried some criminal cases, especially in Washington County. Mr. Dorsey's tried everything. You still get, there's certain judges, I won't say, and they're from our hometown, used to call me up and ask me to come down and handle some cases. You're laughing like you might know what I'm talking. Does that still occur to you, sir?
Sometimes.
Is it because what happens is when you really get a bad case, no one wants it. They're not going to be able to afford it, but the judge wants you to handle it in a professional manner so the appellate record is clear, so the conviction can stand. So they used to call me, and I won't say their names because I think they're past, and they were very nice people. I used to dog cuss judges because they would give me the worst cases in the world. And one of them was a guy that was like an 80-year-old neighbor who would wake up every day, drink his coffee, and he had some idiot crankhead move into next door. And every day he had like a Great Dane. And he would get behind his Great Dane, pull his pants down, and began raping the dog. And the old man just wanted it to stop so he could drink his coffee. And they tried to give it to me. And I was like, this man's not sane. And he was sane. He just had sex with his Great Dane. And I was like, I'm not taking this case. I'm not touching this case. I was never assigned that case. But you know, somebody, I won't say who, said, "Don't you love a dog lover?" And I walked out. I walked out of the office. I said, "I'm not handling that case because I can't represent him." But yeah, I think 3 of them. I've had 3 bestialities.
I've had 5.
I've only seen that one.
And they're all different. Like one was a young kid. He just broke up with his girlfriend. Got caught with a dog, and
well, wait, stop!
That was his excuse.
You said it like it was understandable.
No,
like
it's not understandable.
Was
what
it
I'm
his
telling
dog
you is,
or her dog?
we didn't put him in jail. We fined him for something lesser because you don't want to ruin a young kid's life.
That's how you get COVID, is sleeping with animals. We got syphilis from some idiot sleeping with a chicken. We got herpes from, was it cows or something?
I don't know.
Now, we had one that was really funny. I want to tell you about
Go
this.
ahead.
And I wouldn't see it, but this is supposed to be true. There was a guy who got charged with bestiality, and he was pleading. He said, you've been charged of having sex with a goat, a dog, chickens. He said, chickens?
There was a guy in Washington County who went to jail for sleeping with chickens.
Hey, he was just insulted that you would say he had sex with a chicken, but everything else was
got
fine.
10 years. He was killing the farmers' chickens. He was sleeping with it. Did you not hear that?
No.
He was after he was done, the chicken would die, and every day there'd be a dead chicken. They didn't know what it was. He was coming over there. A farmhand was coming over there and sleeping with the chickens.
Oh my gosh!
But that's how you get those killer diseases, because they cross species. Oh, there's some sick individuals out there.
The world has got some problems with some people. There's no doubt.
See, I know. I want to ask Dorsey his worst case, but I know what it is. I don't want to put you on the spot. I know exactly what it is, but I don't even want to go there.
Now, I'll tell you, my worst case is very easy. Is there was a guy that was charged with murder. He beat a couple with a baseball bat and robbed them, just killed them with a baseball bat. But he had some pending misdemeanors. So he had to come for the misdemeanors. And the misdemeanors were, he put firecrackers in a cat and blew it up. Or stuff, crazy stuff. And it was so high security because he was a gang member, and they had policemen everywhere for the court hearings. So those misdemeanors had to be cleared up, which is crazy. I don't know why.
No, you have to. You have to give them
clear
due
them up.
process. Now, usually you plead them out.
Plead 'em out.
But some of them want a trial, just get out of jail.
Mm-hmm. No, he pled guilty to
Oh,
all
yeah,
of it.
yeah.
But you still had to read the charges.
No.
And I was angry. He was breathing the same air I was in. I was angry about it. That's the kind of person.
Well, you've been coughing all day. I'm not happy. Not happy at all. But
I heard the Saints are 0-0.
Let's get that off. We can't do a live watch of the same.
It's 0-0. I just
Once
got a text on
again,
it.
I'm getting off of it. Let me turn this off before we get sued. We're going to try to work in the TV screen on some clips and go from there later on. But
I know where we're going.
where?
What was that thing called?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
I'm not. We're moving on, Richie. Please, my business partner, do not get indicted for going on the OnlyFans. Or before known, this OnlyFans account brought to you by Richard Schwartz. One call, that's all. You laughing, sunshine. Your TV commercials have a time. Do you have, or you're going to die before this, but like in 3 years, you're not going to have a commercial anymore. TV's gone.
No, but social media is taking over. It's like I say social media is probably 45% of advertising now.
Okay.
I really do, and it's going to only increase because the problem is there's so many channels, so many screens. You can't. Television doesn't have an effect anymore because it's. For instance, when I was young, there were only 3 channels, and you had ratings.
They were black and white.
Yeah, and you had ratings like a 20. That means 20% of all households were watching the show. Now, if you get 3, it's a big hit. It's a huge difference than the way it used to be.
Are you looking at TikTok?
I think what part of my Super Bowl ad is going to be a kickoff.
Okay, stop. Let me stop there. Last year, you dressed up as a cowboy.
Yeah. Yeehaw.
This year?
I think it's going to be
Okay, first
a
of all.
parody of that old ad.
Which old ad?
The one the cowboy one. What's the song? The parody song?
Oh, you talking about
Old Town Road.
Old Town Road, yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to do that again?
We're going to mix it up a little bit. It's going to be that kind of theme. Yeah.
You weren't embarrassed last time.
Listen, I'm embarrassed every day. But you know what? Somebody's got to do it.
Okay. We haven't got into this. Let's get into this since you brought it up. You've heard the and I give you a hard time, but I mean, we're business partners. You've heard the criticism throughout your career, correct?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not hurting your feelings
advertising
here.
is more accepted than it was when I first started. It was I was a third advertiser in the Mississippi market.
Okay.
Yeah,
And this is 84.
this is in 80.
85?
Yeah, about 84. Yeah.
The United States Supreme Court said it was First Amendment rights, and
Yeah.
the bar used to ban it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, to be fair to you, here's my question sincerely. If you were a car dealer, you would get no criticism for that. Car dealers have been dressing up crazy.
Yeah, sure.
Did you create, and where did you learn to advertise like you do?
Advertising is just basically meeting people one-on-one. Like you and I shake hands, that's advertising.
Okay.
You're in the yellow pages
Sunshine,
at advertising.
I don't have to watch 3 million times you meeting people one-on-one. I'm talking about you carpet bomb advertise. Okay. Where did you learn that?
I just did it. I don't know.
That's
I
just your
didn't learn it
personality?
from anybody.
You didn't learn it from mom and dad running the retail store?
No.
I thought you told me once they had radio spots.
They did. They had WJMI and Kixie in the store for hops on Saturdays and the DJs, but I didn't really learn it from them.
Okay. Did you? I guess what I'm trying to say, do you take credit or blame for being the first massive legal advertiser, or did you do what the market required you to do?
Well, I don't know if you remember this, but the bar had set real strict guidelines on advertising.
Yes.
And we actually sued the Bar Association.
Okay.
In federal court, a very conservative judge. The judge ruled that all the rules of advertising by the bar were unconstitutional. And so we worked out an agreement with the bar on what I thought was wrong. And you know who my witnesses were? The ABA. The ABA, American Bar Association, said attorney advertising is the best thing that's ever happened to consumers, making them aware, making them competition, and they're saying it's a profession, but it's really a business, and so they thought, ABA thought, and he testified in the trial that it's the best thing that's ever happened to consumers.
Okay, but back to my question: do you feel that you dictated to the market, or you did what the market dictated to you?
That's a good question.
Well, you ponder that.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm going with. I give Richie hell. Richie almost has a photographic memory. Okay, and Richie has 25 attorneys right now, and
130 something people, 140
employees.
people.
You
Yeah.
just they just say, "Hey, Mr. Schwartz," you just keep on going.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Where's
my money? And then move on. Brandon Dorsey can go, and look, if you ever hear attorneys talk about things and have conversations and stuff like that, my phrase is they can go. Brandon Dorsey can go. He can try it. I've gone against him. He's won the cases he's supposed to win. He's lost the cases he's supposed to lose, but he can go. Do you feel any frustration in this current market, in my opinion, and y'all both disagree with me? I will say in the legal market of 2020, analysis is not a marketable skill. Legal analysis.
I don't understand what you mean by that.
Writing a great brief is
not a legal skill?
It's not a marketable skill. Writing, being a great appellate lawyer, being a great trial lawyer.
I disagree with you. There's a lot of attorneys that do that for other attorneys, and that's all they do. They used
but
to be
it's not a marketable skill. Well, no one's going to hire me. Other attorneys might hire me.
That's correct.
But the general population's not going to hire me.
Why would they? Oh, you mean for practice law?
For how I practice law. One of the reasons we're doing this podcast, at least for me, is because he's the general way I get my cases. And we work them together, and I joke with him a bunch, but he has tremendous insight because he's done everything. And for instance, I mean, you just package, or how would you say it? No one at this table would be able to try a roundup case.
That's right.
What would happen is that they consolidate them in either East St. Louis or San Francisco.
That's right.
You don't know, and I've been good old boyed. Oh, wait a minute. Let me finish this. I've been good old boyed in some counties where they literally say you ain't from around here. They say that to you in San Francisco. They say it with a different accent. They say it with a different...
With a little lisp.
Yeah. You're so offensive in 2020 on so many different levels, which is, I don't know if it's good that a Jewish person can be that offensive in 2020 and forgave the Germans.
I'm making
no, it's okay. No,
I'm making a joke.
You're fine. It's 1985. Me too, Richard Schwartz. Mike Tyson. Me too, Richard Schwartz. But what happened is, what I'm saying is they're going to appoint their judge. The judges are going to appoint the judges they know, and they should. Okay? Yeah. So San Francisco, and look, I'll go ahead and say it. I can go. Your boy can go. I've been in New York. I've been in Miami. And what happens is, what I've discovered, these big successful attorneys, they do the same case every time because they can.
The same attorneys are in most mass torts over and over and over.
And they cut and paste because it's profitable.
They do, but now they're different leaders.
Yeah, depending on the judges.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, Dorsey, and you've done, like you talk about city court all the time. Well, sometimes we have to handle a 1983 civil rights case. You and I have got a couple of 1983 cases going right now. We got a car wreck case. We got criminal cases in county court. We've got a hearing over here. And you don't realize how good you become with skills. Those antitrust cases or products liability cases, they got their experts. They got their complaints. They're going to cut and paste words. And it's profitable. We don't either have that market or we don't have that population. But what I'm saying is those people, the fact that we don't have class actions or MDLs here is one of points of evidence.
And you and I have talked about that for forever, and we definitely need it. I think the reason is
we're
it's
lazy.
hard to get here.
No, we're lazy as hell. It gets back to my criticism of Jackson State and Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Just like I think Deion Sanders, if you want to watch part 1, you go ahead. Deion Sanders brought the energy to Jackson State. We should be bringing the energy. And to me, the legal field is what's going on in Northeast Jackson. We're not looking at what's going on in New York, Miami. We're not looking at there. And I mean, you've never said this. I can say this. I've reached a point where I can't go any further. New Orleans 10 years ago said, or 15 years ago said, well, everybody's doing class action now. We're going to do some of that class action stuff down here. And that Louisiana, they're called the Louisiana Mafia. They're a group of attorneys, fine people. They run that town. And they let you know they run that town. And they let you, I mean, it's all legal. It's all ethical.
Yeah.
But they'll tell the New York, D.C. guys, and we've been on a couple of those cases with them when New York and D.C. said, let me come down here. And they said, y'all sit in that corner. Thank you for coming. BP was one of them. Chinese Drywall was another one, and they ran that town. But the judges wanted those cases. They understood that we're going to all lift together. We're going to all do something
Vioxx
new.
was one.
Vioxx was one. And we're talking about $100 million cases.
And the reality is, trying those cases, to get a case to trial costs millions and millions
Experts,
and millions
papers.
of dollars. I mean, millions of dollars.
Well,
to
like
get
with
one
BP.
case to trial, the first one.
You're not going to take one, and that's what I'm saying. One of us was not going to go try a BP case. You just can't. You can't afford the experts. You've got to go through the steering committee. You got to go through the MDLs.
And you got to pay steering committee a piece
A
of the pie
percentage.
to get their
5%. Well, you've done some of those with FinFin. And yes, these are the things. It's almost like putting a movie together. Because you and I have had to have conversations about who we're going to get from D.C., because you don't know if the case is going to D.C. or New York.
We had a case where our expert was $2 million.
We had a case, the first expert was, he quoted us 8.
And we hired an expert and paid him $2 million on one case. That's just the kind of stuff you have to do on those type of cases.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And what you have to do, well, I say all that to say, we know, back to you and where I'm going with all this, you know when someone can go.
True.
2020, how many years in the game do you have?
20.
Okay, well, so you and I are the same. You don't do any marketing, do you?
I do not.
Why or why not?
Well, first of all, I don't do it because I don't have the capital to do it.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, in my experience, word of mouth has been the best form of advertisement. Every client that I've always had has been because someone referred them, either another client, another lawyer, another judge, somebody at the church. All my business has been referred.
But isn't that marketing?
It is.
It's just a different form of marketing.
It is. And the only criticism I have to lawyers that advertise, and this is no disrespect to you, Mr. Schwartz.
Sure.
That means it is.
No, it's not. It's not.
That's
I
code.
have no problem with
That's code is.
No.
I love you, but you're a whore. Go ahead.
No. The only criticism, and it's not necessarily criticism. I guess it's a more of a
Observation?
a word to the wise.
Okay. Because he ain't smart.
As attorneys, the public invests in us a certain trust.
Right.
And they expect us to be able to tell them honestly up front, good, bad, or indifferent, one way or another. And I just think as attorneys, we just need to, whether you're advertising or not, when a client comes to talk to you, you just need to be up front with them and tell them, look, this is not $1 million case. This is not a case where you're going to, go off into the sunset and never work again. It's just not. And sometimes advertising, can be misleading to people.
Well, I'll tell you what happens. And and obviously you can speak for yourself. Sure. People see the $1 million or the FinFin case. Mm-hmm. And both of these gentlemen made a ton of well, I don't want to say a ton, but they represented people well in FinFin. You do not know how many people have come to me and said, well, if they got $150 million or they got $1 million for that case, I really got injured. And I was like, your case is worth $50,000. But now let me go ahead and defend you to a certain degree. But I think people are imposing that or filling in the blanks with their own memory. Mm-hmm. But you and I know, and I don't know if this has happened to you. In my opinion, people do not change people's expectation timely in a civil manner. I don't think anybody lies. I think what people do is don't correct them. There's criminal defense attorneys. Because my biggest problem is I tell people all the time, oh, you're going to do some years. What do you mean? Oh, you got caught with the gun. They got a body, and you got caught with the coke. And I tell, there was one family who understood the system better than I did. And they taught me about good time, day for day. They did not. If you're really guilty, you should never bail out of jail because you get time served on county. Your mama can bring you dinner on Sundays. You might be able to get a trustee depending on your political connections with the jail. And you can delay it as long as you want and maybe run to Walmart, wash the car. There was people in Washington County just wash cars. And by the time I played them out, 10 years were almost done. And they got their time. They had to process one day, and again, they were out. The idiots who commit the crime on video and want off, someone has told them I can get you off for $10,000. And then they will never hire me because I lack that ethical absence to lie to them. Like, dude, you're doing time. Yeah. But anyway, go ahead and speak.
I mean, we've settled cases in the millions of dollars for people. I mean, large amounts.
Seen the ads.
But you got to have client control on expectations. You do that on the front end. You explain to them, and most people know they don't have $1 million case. Okay, they know that. I just got hurt a little bit. But,
I would disagree on that.
But there are people who aren't satisfied with a good settlement. What we would recommend is a good settlement. So their alternative is litigation, which we have no problem. We work for the client. If they want to take their chances in the courtroom, we will do that. But you got to control what their expectations are. And the way I do it is I explain to them that if it went to a jury trial, this is what I think would happen based on the venue and the like. I've been able to crush your medicals, your attorney's fees are less, your expenses are less, and I've gotten you net probably as much money as you would have gotten in that trial. And so that's the way I explain it to them. And anyone's entitled to take their chances in a courtroom. And we have some really good trial lawyers.
No, I understand that. But see, here, this is my this is my follow-up question to you, Brandon. I'm not defending him. This is me 20 years in the game, and I've done some stuff. I don't feel that our state, federal or state government or profession values litigation ability. And I'll say that because if you go to the Fifth Circuit, which we're in, which is Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, 78% of all cases that go down there are ruled for the defendant, which is political. Because to go to that Fifth Circuit, you got to get past a district court judge, usually appointed by Republicans. So if you're going down there, and if you appeal anything...
But there's some advantages to federal court. I mean,
it is.
The process of settlement is a lot more intense.
Well, it is, but in my opinion, you've got some federal judges right now. Right now, defense attorneys are hurting. All attorneys are hurting. There's so many lawyers in the pond.
This has been an unusual year.
Yes. But I'm just talking about in general. When Jim Hood left, people did not realize how many cases Jim Hood had filed. And right now in state court, you're going to lose 7-2 on any appeal because there's 7 conservatives. And I tell people this all the time. Show me the case, state or federal, where Judge Hazard ruled against his political philosophy. And that's why I'm saying...
I agree with you. You know, I think judges need to be fair and rule on the law, but they're human beings. They have preconceived notions and political notions sometimes too, so they rule in the way they feel sometimes, or it sways how they see the law. And I think that's a fair assumption.
But what I'm saying is I don't even think it's that. But what I'm saying is back doing mass tort where we're a judicial hellhole, that wasn't law. That was politics.
That was the jury.
But what I'm saying is, but those judges were not imposing the law. The law was, there's no way to get a $150 million verdict for anybody who's still living. By economic damages, you can't come up with that number.
Under the new system of
I'm talking about if I'm still alive, okay? And I lost an arm, okay? Legally, or I die today. And this is one of the shocking things that people don't understand about. I make this amount of money, I make this amount of money for the next, and you'll bring in an economist, and it goes 25 years. And people are like, well, I'm going to live to be longer than 72. No, partner, the average age is 72.
No, but there's other factors you're looking at. Outrage to a jury. For instance, if the guy was on the cell phone and just didn't give a crap.
Okay, but that's punitive. I'm talking about compensation.
No. You may not get to the point of punitive. It may be a question on liability, which brings in the cell phone.
Okay, but that might be, but that doesn't calculate outrage. But what I'm saying is, whatever I'm dead, my estate can only get my future earnings percentage. And today's, the way the law is I'm
now.
talking about 1990, okay? In 1990, you're supposed to take my earnings, and you'd get a nice number for 25 years.
No, I disagree with you. There's no caps in 1990.
Once again, I understand that, but you have to still have you have to have evidence of damage. And what I'm saying is there's only one way to value my life in 1990 ways, is you look at get an economist. Everybody went and got Dr. Lee, and he would get your number and say, well, Brent would make, I'm just throwing a number out, $200,000 a year. But let me finish. Okay. But then people would say that's in 25 years, and then you already get the present value. And that reduces it. That's the amount of money you would have to invest in the market to end up when you were 72 with the same amount. And this is what people always say. That's all that person's worth. You don't understand. And it's just like losing a dog. In Mississippi, a dog is nothing but property. It could be the greatest dog of all time.
Unless it's a money-making dog.
Yes. God, you just go straight to the exceptions that never really apply. How many people have money-making dogs?
Well, I mean, if it's a show dog and you're making money on it.
Name 5 show dogs in Mississippi. Benji's from Mississippi.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a show, okay?
Now, that dog got hurt. It'd be worth a lot of money.
Lassie's number 2. Name another money. Spuds McKenzie, number 3. Anything in 2020. Is there a dog that's famous in 2020?
Show dogs are.
2020, name one.
Fido? I don't know.
Can you name
Spot?
Is there a movie star or dog star in 2020? Is there an animal star in 2020?
Well, there was. There's a couple. There was one in what was the movie that was made a few years back?
It's probably computer animated in 2020.
That could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
So what I'm saying is, you take all that, and then you can I'll take the Holmes County case, because I don't want to talk about some of your cases because of attorney-client privilege, but Holmes County had 5 cases, and this is a case that brought tort reform. You know exactly what I'm talking about. 5 cases, they never saw a doctor. They saw a nurse. They had maximum $10,000, and they got $25 million in compensatory. That's not the law. And why it was a nice payday.
But there were remittatures by the judge. They have safeguards.
Oh, it was overturned. It was overturned.
Yeah.
But now the trial judge, I don't think, remitted anything on that one. But it was overturned on appeal, and that brought us tort reform. But what I'm saying is, as a trial, if that was my case, I'm taking both of you out of it, I would be like, and I've had to tell, you and I have talked about this, and you and I have talked about this. There are times when you tell a jury, not that much. I know he's a piece of crap, and I know he's horrible, but my client got $50,000. I need $50,000 in compensatory and come back and maybe get me $250 on punitives. Don't hit me with no $1 million and get me hung up here, because the client never wants to give up money. And you're sitting there saying, look, man, we can settle this for $150, get me out of here. And the client's like, well, you don't understand. He's a horrible person. He's an ass. He was on the cell phone. He was drinking, and you don't have a leg. But that leg ain't worth $1 million. And because here's the evidence we found.
Well, here's what you're missing.
Tell me what I'm missing.
You're thinking too much about numbers, but the reality is, the reason you go to trial is to put the person back in the position they were before the injury. For instance, let's say there's a person who loved to ride horses. You need to give him the equipment to get back on that horse. That may cost millions of dollars.
Have you got on a horse?
No, but I'm telling you.
I mean, it's just a saddle.
No, not if you're disabled.
Well, a fake leg.
Okay, let's talk about legs.
Okay.
What if you like to run? You were a runner before that happened. and you can't run now. That's taken away from you. What
number would you put on that?
It's unlimited.
So, okay, so let me...
If it happened to you and you were an avid runner and you lost your leg and you can't do what you enjoyed in life anymore, is there a dollar amount for that?
Okay, let me reverse it. I'm going to get in your car and we're going to go somewhere and you have a wreck.
Then you're not entitled to anything.
No, but this is why I can't. Now, look, this is you shilling for your profession, and this show's turned way too legal. It's not supposed to be legal, but we've got 3 lawyers here, so what can you expect? But you'd be okay with me telling the jury that I was a runner back when I was 20. Not that Brent Hazard loved to play basketball in his 20s, but he's 48 now, and he ain't
not what
playing.
you had in the past. But let
me finish.
Okay.
And you're okay with me suing you and saying, he said it himself, ladies and gentlemen, me get on that court shooting basketball is unlimited. So I want $150 million from Richard Schwartz.
Well, first off, you don't do that anymore. If you were an NBA player or you enjoyed, you are entitled to go back to what you were before that.
You literally
accident.
just said running. I could run. It was unlimited.
Are you a runner now?
I'm just asking you. Okay, I'm a horse rider. I can ride at 48, and it's unlimited. You're okay with me being able to give that instruction to a jury if you're on the defendant?
I trust the jury. That's what our Constitution is based on.
Our Constitution is based on evidence. And what I'm saying is I can sit up there all the time and say, and this is what happens to attorneys. We become ghouls, not by necessity. But it's like anybody else. When surgeons don't care who they're operating on, it's not because they don't care. It's because it's their business. And you don't want them to care because you want them to be professional, but you don't want them to become emotionally involved or they'll start crying or they'll freak out. You want someone in to do business when they're operating on your leg.
Let me give you, for instance, of actual case we had. We had a guy who's a paraplegic, and his only movement was this. That movement allowed him to drive a car, allowed him to be some independence. He was in a car accident. He loses this movement. That's not a big deal to a healthy person. But because of the situation he was in, it's a huge deal.
You're missing my point. Would you be okay with me making that argument against you and Schwartz and Associates?
I trust the jury.
As long as you're okay, I'm fine with that. But what I'm saying is, whatever this movement is, there has to be, and I mean, that's why we have non-economic damages. But what I'm saying is, I don't care. You've got to be able to put a number behind it. I don't care. You come up with that.
There's no number. You've taken away that person's independence. There is no number for that.
And what I'm saying is, then how would you tell me what number to give?
I would probably read the jury and see how the evidence went and then make that determination.
But that's not what I'm saying. Right now, sitting at the table, what number would you prove that a guy who is quadriplegic, who had this and lost this, if I asked you for a number today, I would look at his
life expectancy.
I want a number.
I would look at his life expectancy. Okay. I can't remember what
40.
We settled it
He's
for.
40. I don't want you to
Then
reveal.
I'd ask for a huge number.
I don't want you to reveal confident. That's why
I would ask for a huge number.
Where are you?
I would probably ask for a huge number.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Do you think that our profession, I will say the reason we're getting into these arguments and the reason, and I'll tell people all the time, I'm not counting on this Supreme Court that's very conservative. I'm not picking on the Fifth Circuit that's politicized. To me, it's the same sin when they were giving $125 million away for people with $10,000 in meds. If you have $10,000 in meds and you go to the nurse and you're walking around fine, in my opinion, $50,000.
Well, if I have a $125 million verdict on 10,000 medicals, the first thing I would do is negotiate with the defendant on coming up with some reasonable settlement.
I agree with that, but what I'm saying is I would never get into a situation, but the fact that our profession allowed that, this is what they don't teach you in law school. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. No one taught me in law school. They taught me how the world should be, that it should be analysis, that we should be discussing debate, and you should win on the merits of the case. Like you said, when you go in front of some liberal judges, I'll ask all liberal judges, what is your main sentence? When does that criminal cross the line? Is it a child molester? When is it a rapist? When do you send, as a liberal judge, someone maxed? Because I need to know where that line is. It's not my job to tell you where that line is, but there's got to be a line.
Do we have sentencing guidelines in the state
Not
court?
state court, no.
Okay.
Not in state court.
So that's completely up to the judge what they want
Well,
to do.
with some crimes. Now, some crimes the statute says what happens, but then there are some crimes that the statute gives the judge
Life,
the
up to
authority.
life.
Right. Yeah.
Discretion. But no, that's what I'm saying. But tell me where your hammer is. Tell me where you're like, we're not attacking old people in here. If you're found guilty, I'm not going to get involved. But and you know, we get into this all the time. Okay, let me ask you this. Well, back to where I was, Mr. Dorsey. I apologize. I cut you off. Do you agree with what I'm saying, that there's no true marketability for analysis?
I do agree with that.
And what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying that's good. I'm just saying that's is.
I don't understand what you mean, marketability.
No one sits there. Brandon Dorsey and I have argued literally. And Brandon was a guardian ad litem and a public defender and a Judge Patton.
Correct.
Houston Pat, wonderful person.
Yeah, really, really miss him. He was a great guy.
And he was down there when I got sent on with Judge Skinner.
Okay.
Judge Skinner picked a fight with everybody, but Judge Skinner's Judge Skinner. And the problem is Judge Skinner, I'll say this, Brent as a judge, 99% of the time he was 100% right on the law. It was his personality that got him in trouble because he didn't have any backup in him, and that's the police officer coming out. But Dorsey and I would throw trash cans at each other down there because I was all down there prosecuting. You had like 30 minutes to get ready for trial, and most of them, you can't settle cases, but we worked them out. They pled, but there's no plea dealing in youth court. But, I mean, when we went. And Skinner was loving it. He was ruling on the issues, and we really dug in. And what I'm saying is we can say that all you want. And, I mean, Brandon probably knows youth court better than anybody in the state. Mm-hmm. Okay? He can't legally say that. I'm saying that. He can't ethically say that. But I can tell you right now, the people that got hired that would come down to youth court paying an outrageous fee, and we had to be careful how we said this, 9 times out of 10, I'd be like, dude, you need to get that guy right there. Why? Because he beat me 10 minutes ago, and he's free. But they would go with the country club name, or they would go with some, they would not get into how many cases, what's your verdicts, what's your successes. But to me, to get into analysis, it's like playing pickup basketball. I played my best games playing ball when I was going against West Leasy, and I ain't D1 athlete. Then when guys are dunking on you, like, I got to work on my game now. I got to make sure I hit that shot. I got to be fundamentally sound. Why? Because he's bigger, stronger, and faster.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. How do we and I'm not mad at it. It's a realization. As a society, we're about results. We're about TikTok. We're about wearing a cowboy uniform. I mean, but I'm saying we're joking, but that's one of the reasons I'm doing this podcast. And that's one of the reasons I hate talking about the law on this podcast, is because we're trying to humanize and let's go hire Brent. And it's frustrating to a certain degree. It's almost like we all know this. We could go back to football. We all know athletes who didn't get the chance in high school because either their parents wasn't a coach or whatever reason. And they're like, well, there goes the fastest kid in Greenville, or there goes the fastest kid in Mississippi. Well, a coach didn't like him, or he had some issues, or his dad didn't donate a church.
It's like they say the best athlete in football's never played football.
Correct.
Yeah, it's some truth to that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, back to our San Francisco situation. I've been in New York and Maryland telephonically or through electronic filings, and you'll hear these people from D.C., we either have an assignment. These big cases, the top boys will give you an assignment, men or women, and you have to get it to them, and they'll be like, well, can you handle it? Yeah, I can handle it. Are you sure? Yeah, I can handle it. But they've only done one case. So when you bring them an outside perspective, or this is what I use against Dorsey to win against that. I like that rule over here. You hit them with that, and they're just like, oh, I didn't see that coming, or oh, and they always get silent. And you know and I know you shaking your head and I know you've done it too, where someone's like, on Super Talk, we joke up, and he Super Talk's his show. This is my show, and he wants to do more legal analysis. I want to do more social economics, and we agree to disagree. But we don't get into a legal analysis a lot. One, because you want to get to every phone call, which is your discretion. But two, people don't want to get into it. People really don't want to get into why the Supreme Court ruled on the new COVID. You know, they want to get a little bit, but they're like, and it's the same thing if you were telling me the difference, or Reggie started telling me the difference of these cameras. Dude, do they work? Can you find a video card? Inside joke there. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's frustrating. I wish we were, as a profession, was more honest about this is a business and you need to market it. And like I said, I'm not mad at Logan Paul for making $7 million doing videos about him buying cars. It's my fault for not trying to do the videos. I'm not going to change society and make it smarter where we get our best views when we talk about topics like who's going to win football or who's going to do that. People don't want to get into legal analysis. And I'm not mad at that. That's society. Howard Stern said, I got more viewers than PBS does every night. And people are more interested in lesbians and what else did he do? Hookers and strippers than they are about Shakespeare. That's not my fault. I feel like we need to admit that as a profession. And one of the things, I'm just coming to grips with it 20 years in the game. I thought if I could try a case, and all three of us know what we're talking about, you get to a point where you're like, where is it? See you there. I got a weekend? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. And when you get there and you're like, and do you get excited about cases anymore, or do you get anxious?
Both.
Do you get excited at 64, or do you get anxious?
I'm excited.
I don't get excited about cases.
I'm excited about cases because especially if it's a challenging case, that is exciting to me.
When I was first trying cases, I'd stay up all night because I can't sleep. And there's still a little bit of that, but it's more anxious of because I know I can walk in there and there's nothing they can hit me with that I can't handle.
Now, my high when I settle a case is get them substantial money on a case they shouldn't got anything on. That's a high to me. Mm-hmm. I've done that a lot, and boy, it's a great feeling. And I remember one where a client rear-ended somebody, and she happened to be high on cocaine, and I settled that case for $300.
Was it one of my exes?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know what the hell you laughing about, Dorsey. You don't know me like that.
I think
I know you quite well. Yeah. I know you quite well.
We settled that case for well over $300,000.
And I'm familiar with the company you keep.
First of all, on the first date, they don't tell you they're bipolar, son. And let me go ahead and speak to my people here. By definition of bipolar, they have ups, okay? They have mania. They are very impressive when they're up here. It's when
are you talking about your women? What are you talking about?
See,
what are you talking about?
I'm talking about some people he might know some stories about.
Okay.
They don't do the coke on the table at Char, okay? You're like, well, look, this could be the next Miss Hazz. What the hell you laughing at down there, dating advice?
Hey, I'm not giving you advice. I just know how you pick women now.
I don't pick women with issues on the first date. What I'm saying, what I get unfairly criticized about.
You're a fixer.
What the hell I am.
You're a fixer.
I block people all the time for me trying to fix them.
No, the one with the most tattoos, that's his next date.
I don't even like tattoos. With that said, Mr. Dorsey, how do people get hold of you if they want to hire you, sir?
601-969-6960.
And what's the name of your firm, sir?
Brandon I. Dorsey, PLLC.
Richie, how do people get hold of you?
601-9 and all 8s.
And do I even need to ask you what the name of your firm?
Schwartz and Associates.
I'm Hazard Law, 601-977-5253. I don't know if these have been two good shows, but they're shows. We knocked two off. And we are, Mr. Dorsey, thank you. We're going to come back.
Thanks for allowing me to come.
Yeah.
We're trying to add, it's hard to have two white people talk about social economic problems in Mississippi. Next time, I'm not going to go so easy on you. your projection of HBCUs and Dion, I'll give it a C+.
Okay.
But you're from Greenville High
All right, Washington State.
Academy.
Washington School.
We're gonna get Brandon back. We're gonna really get into the issues. It's kind of a dead time with the holidays, but we'll be right back. Thank you for listening. You can check us out on YouTube, Richie and Hazz Show, and check us out on Facebook. Thank you. See y'all next week.
Thank you.